There is a silent tax you pay for believing that everyone thinks the same way you do. Think about that one person from your past. Perhaps it was the new colleague who sat across from you on their first week, nodding deeply as you explained the office dynamics, making you feel instantly understood. Or perhaps it was that person from the dating app who mirrored every single one of your values by the second drink. They looked you in the eye, made all the right promises, and sounded exactly like the ally you had been waiting for. And then, slowly, the boundaries shifted. The credit for your work was quietly absorbed. The plans were suddenly canceled with vague excuses. The respect you thought you had built simply eroded into thin air. You were left wondering what you did to change their mind, but here is the cold truth. You weren't betrayed by a sudden change in their character. You were outmaneuvered. Because you listened to the music, but you failed to watch their hands. We walk through life, projecting our own moral compass onto the people around us. If you are an honest person, your default assumption is that the person sitting across the table from you is also playing by the rules of honesty. You assume that their words are an accurate reflection of their internal reality. But the dark reality of human nature is that communication did not evolve solely for the purpose of sharing the truth. It evolved for survival, for influence, and for control. Words are the cheapest currency in the human economy. Anyone can print them, anyone can spend them. And those who understand the unspoken laws of power dynamics know that your reliance on words is your greatest vulnerability. Let us look closer at how this trap is set in modern life. When you enter a new dynamic, a new job, a new social circle, a new romance, the first phase is always data collection. Average people listen to your stories to bond with you. But a Machiavellian player listens to map your weak points. They are quietly figuring out what you desperately want to hear. Do you want to feel smart? Do you need to feel validated? Are you secretly craving a sense of safety? Once they locate that hunger, they manufacture a conversational mirror. They feed your exact desires back to you in the form of compliments and agreements. You think you are building a deep connection, but in reality, you are handing over the blueprint to your own psychology. We fall for this because questioning every single interaction is biologically exhausting. Our brains are designed to take shortcuts to conserve energy. It takes too much caloric and mental effort to interrogate every compliment, to cross-reference every promise, to constantly scan for deception. So, we default to trust. Manipulators and strategic players rely heavily on this cognitive laziness. They know that if they deliver the right words with enough conviction and eye contact, your brain will automatically file it under fact just to save time. You give them the benefit of the doubt because it is so much easier than facing the friction of suspicion. And this is exactly where the erosion of your power begins. Once the illusion is established through language, the behavioral testing starts. It is never a massive cinematic betrayal on day one. A major betrayal would trigger your defenses and force you to walk away. Instead, it is a slight delay in a text response. It is a tiny, sarcastic comment disguised as a joke in front of other people at the office. It is a minor commitment they casually forget. When you finally bring it up, they hit you with a beautifully constructed, highly emotional apology. And because you are anchored to the idealized version of them they presented in the beginning, you accept the apology. You allow the boundary to be permanently crossed. This cycle repeats, and before long, you are no longer a participant in the relationship. You are a manager of their excuses. You find yourself explaining their behavior to your friends, rationalizing their disrespect to yourself, and acting as their defense attorney in your own mind. Why do we do this? Because letting go of the illusion means admitting that we were fooled. The human ego hates nothing more than feeling gullible. We would rather suffer through a toxic dynamic than look in the mirror and admit that we fell for a cheap magic trick. So, you cling to the original script they handed you, even as the stage collapses around you. If you want to step out of the victim role and become part of the 1% who actually understand the game, you must adopt a new baseline of perception. You have to sterilize your hearing. Stop assigning immediate value to the vibrations coming out of someone's mouth or the pixels on a screen. Promises, apologies, and grand declarations of loyalty must be treated as absolute zero. They mean nothing until the gravity of real life tests them. People lie with their words, but they confess with their patterns. Think of the coworker who constantly preaches about teamwork and culture in meetings, but miraculously vanishes when the deadline approaches and the actual heavy lifting is required. Or the romantic interest who sends paragraphs of intense affection late at night, but is completely unreachable when you face a real-world crisis in the middle of the afternoon. The discrepancy between their script and their reality is not an accident. It is not a mistake. It is the strategy. They are giving you just enough verbal validation to keep you on the hook, while reserving all their actual energy, time, and resources for themselves. They are managing your perception while protecting their assets. This realization is supposed to be uncomfortable. Looking back at the times you were used, overlooked, or discarded, the hardest truth to swallow is that the signs were always there. The inconsistencies were right in front of you from the very beginning. You just chose to mute your instincts because you wanted the fairy tale. You wanted the easy narrative. You allowed your desire for a good outcome to blind you to the cold reality of the present moment. You traded your power for the comfort of a lie. The transition from prey to observer starts the second you stop trusting the marketing material people build for themselves. You must understand that every single social interaction, from a casual coffee run to a high-stakes corporate negotiation, is governed by unseen incentives. The people who manipulate you do not possess supernatural intelligence. They simply know how to play the incentives while you are distracted by the conversation. But the game they are playing isn't invisible. You have just been looking at the wrong board. Once you realize you have been staring at the wrong board, the next logical step is to understand the actual pieces being moved against you. You have to stop looking at what people are doing and start dissecting exactly why they are doing it. Picture the casual acquaintance from university or the peripheral coworker who suddenly dials up their warmth out of nowhere. For months, you were nothing more than a polite nod in the hallway. Then, seemingly overnight, they are treating you like an inner circle confidant. They invite you to lunch. They laugh a little too hard at your jokes. They shower you with an unearned, intense familiarity. If you are operating under the default human setting, your ego naturally takes the wheel. You think to yourself that they finally recognize your value. You assume you are just naturally likable, that the two of you are finally clicking. You soak up the attention because, frankly, it feels good to be chosen. But then comes the pivot. 2 weeks into this newly minted best friendship, the real agenda quietly arrives. A casual request for an introduction to your boss, a sudden plea to borrow your notes, or gain access to a network you spent years building. A favor that requires your specific resources, your time, or your reputation. The overwhelming warmth you experienced was not a sudden realization of your inherent worth. It was a calculated investment. They were simply greasing the gears before pulling the lever. This brings us to a harsh but deeply liberating law of human nature. Every single action in the theater of social dynamics has an underlying incentive. Pure, unadulterated altruism is exceptionally rare. In the real world, behavior is an economy. People do not expend energy, time, or social capital without expecting a return on investment. When someone acts wildly out of character, or when they accelerate a connection much faster than the natural rhythm of time allows, they are not being friendly, they are making a down payment. Machiavellian players understand this social economy perfectly. They know that guilt and reciprocity are the invisible chains that bind polite society together. If they buy you a coffee, do you a minor favor, or artificially inflate your status in a group setting, they are deliberately creating an emotional debt. They are depositing coins into your psychological bank account so they can make a massive withdrawal later. And the most dangerous part of this dynamic is that because you want to be perceived as a good, cooperative person, you will happily pay them back. You will let them bypass your boundaries because society has conditioned you to repay kindness, even when that kindness was completely weaponized against you. To stop being a pawn in these invisible transactions, you must kill your romanticized view of human interaction. You must become a forensic accountant of social motives. When someone enters your orbit, especially with intense enthusiasm or unprompted generosity, your first internal question should never be whether or not you like them. Your first question must be, what do they stand to gain from this situation? This is not about becoming a paranoid cynic who locks themselves in a dark room and trusts no one. It is about waking up from your social naivety. It is about recognizing that your attention, your status, your energy, and your access are highly valuable commodities. If you do not assign a high price to them, predators will simply walk in and take them for free. Look closely at the people in your life right now who consistently drain you. The friend who only calls when their life is falling apart, using you as an unpaid therapist to regulate their emotions, but is miraculously too busy when you hit a wall and need support. The family member who uses the heavy concepts of tradition and blood as a guilt trip mechanism to extract your resources or demand your obedience. What is their incentive? They get the emotional offloading, the financial safety net, or the ego boost. While you are left holding the exhaustion, you have allowed them to establish a dynamic where their toxic behavior is highly profitable for them. They have absolutely no reason to change because you keep paying out the dividend. This dynamic plays out ruthlessly in the modern workplace as well. Notice the manager who constantly praises your dedication in private, but mysteriously never puts your name forward for a promotion or a raise. Their hidden incentive is to keep a high-performing asset exactly where it is, generating exceptional results for their department without costing them any budget or risking you eventually outshining them. They pay you in the cheap verbal currency of praise, while keeping the hard currency of status, mobility, and money for themselves. If you do not read the incentive beneath their management style, you will work yourself into the ground, fueled entirely by the hollow illusion of their mentorship. People lie with their words, but they confess with their patterns. Once you start tracking the return on investment of everyone's behavior, the matrix decodes itself. You stop taking betrayal personally. You stop sitting in the dark wondering why the nice guy suddenly turned cold the minute you finally said no to him. He turned cold because his investment strategy failed. You were no longer yielding a return, so he cut his losses and moved on to an easier target. It was never about a deep emotional connection to begin with. It was a business transaction dressed up in the clothing of a friendship. Recognizing this does not make you cold, it makes you precise. This level of clarity is going to sting. At first, it requires you to mourn the loss of the innocent, straightforward world you thought you lived in. It forces you to look back at your history and accept that much of the affection, praise, and attention you received was highly transactional. But after the initial sting fades, what replaces it is a cold, lethal empowerment. When you understand the basic math behind human behavior, you can no longer be blindsided. You can look a manipulator directly in the eye, smile politely, accept their fake warmth, and know exactly what game they are playing without giving them an inch of what they actually want. You become a black hole for their tactics. They pour on the charm, the flattery, and the guilt, and absolutely nothing comes back. To see these motives clearly, you must step out of the noise and master the deadliest tool in the strategist arsenal. When you stop reacting to what people say and start tracking their incentives, you quickly discover that the most powerful tool for extracting the truth is not interrogation. It is silence. In a society that is addicted to noise, silence is an incredibly uncomfortable condition. The average person is terrified of quiet moments in social settings because quiet feels like judgment. It feels like a vacuum that must be filled. And when people rush to fill that vacuum, they almost always over-explain, overshare, and expose the very things they were trying to hide. Silence is not simply the absence of speech. It is a tactical weapon that forces the other person to play their hand against themselves. Think about a tense negotiation, a difficult conversation with a partner, or a moment when you catch someone in a contradiction. The natural instinct is to press them. You want to point out the flaw, demand an explanation, and dominate the argument with logic. You want to corner them with words. But Machiavellian players know that when you go on the offensive with language, you give the other person something to push against. You hand them the exact shape of your argument, which allows them to craft a defense perfectly tailored to defeat it. They will pivot, they will blame shift, and they will use your own words to confuse the issue. But what happens when you do nothing? Imagine you ask a direct question about a broken promise or a suspicious action, and they give you a half-truth or a flimsy excuse. Instead of immediately attacking the excuse, you simply look at them. You hold eye contact, you keep your expression completely neutral, and you say absolutely nothing. The silence becomes a physical weight in the room. In that void, their anxiety spikes. They begin to wonder if you know more than you are letting on. They wonder if their excuse sounded as pathetic out loud as it did in their head. And because human beings cannot stand the tension of an unresolved interaction, they will start talking again. They will start layering excuses, changing details, and offering unprompted justifications. They will build the case against themselves just to break the tension. This principle extends far beyond conflict. It is equally lethal in everyday observation. When you meet someone new, resist the urge to immediately perform. Most people treat conversations like a resume presentation. They want to prove how funny, how smart, or how successful they are within the first 5 minutes. They broadcast all their insecurities by desperately trying to establish value. But the observer, the person who actually controls the dynamic, lets the other person do the work. By offering only minimal, polite engagement, you create a space where the other person feels compelled to perform for you, and as they perform, they reveal their baseline. Do they brag excessively? Do they resort to tearing others down to elevate themselves? Do they subtly fish for compliments? When you remain quiet, you stop projecting your own personality onto them, and you finally see the architecture of theirs. The weaponization of silence also protects your most valuable asset, information. Every time you speak, you are giving away leverage. You are revealing your preferences, your emotional triggers, and your strategic intentions. Manipulative people are always listening for these clues. If you complain about feeling unappreciated at work, you have just handed them the exact emotional button they need to press to gain your loyalty. If you casually mention your fear of abandonment, you have just given them the blueprint for how to control you. The less you speak, the less ammunition you provide. You become a blank screen, making it impossible for a predator to tailor their approach to your weaknesses. Applying this in real life requires massive emotional discipline. It requires you to sit with the discomfort of an awkward pause. It requires you to suppress the ego's urgent desire to have the last word, or to prove that you are right. You have to train yourself to treat conversations not as a place to be heard, but as a laboratory for data collection. Next time you are in a meeting where everyone is scrambling to speak, lean back and watch the room. Notice who interrupts. Notice who desperately needs to agree with the highest status person present. Notice who changes their opinion based on the direction of the wind. When you are not busy formulating your next sentence, the entire power dynamic of the room becomes glaringly obvious. Silence creates a perimeter around your mind. It allows you to process the hidden incentives we discussed earlier without the distraction of trying to maintain the conversational flow. It gives you the fraction of a second needed to evaluate a sudden burst of charm, a subtle insult, or a passive-aggressive comment before you react. And in the game of power, that fraction of a second is the difference between falling into a trap and walking right past it. You begin to realize that the most dangerous person in the room is rarely the loudest. The loudest person is usually the most insecure, desperately seeking validation. The most dangerous person is the one who is quietly gathering intel, giving nothing away, and waiting for the right moment to move. But even if someone manages to keep their mouth shut, there is one condition that will always strip away their mask. The realization that silence gives you the power to see people clearly is liberating, but observation alone is passive. To truly understand the architecture of deception, you must watch how the structure behaves when it is forced to carry weight. Anybody can maintain a flawless, cooperative, and charming persona when life is easy. When the stakes are low, when the money is flowing, when the environment is comfortable, people have the luxury of performing an idealized version of themselves. They can afford to be generous. They can afford to be patient. But comfort is not a test of character. It is a vacation from it. The ultimate diagnostic tool in Machiavellian observation is the introduction of pressure. Pressure burns away the performance and forces the baseline nature to the surface. Think back to a moment when the temperature suddenly changed. A group project where the deadline was suddenly moved up by a week. A business partnership where the initial funding fell through. A family crisis where hard decisions had to be made quickly. Remember the person who spent months marketing themselves as the peacemaker, the loyal friend, or the team player. What happened the exact second their personal comfort or reputation was threatened? The mask didn't just slip, it shattered. The colleague who preached solidarity instantly threw you under the bus in front of the manager to protect their own performance review. The romantic partner who claimed to unconditionally support your dreams suddenly became hypercritical and distant the moment your success required them to make a minor sacrifice. The nice person vanished, and the frightened, self-interested individual underneath took the wheel. This is the dagger turn. This is the moment you must confront a deeply uncomfortable reality. You are not just unlucky in your relationships. You are not a magnet for bad people because the universe is punishing you. You have been targeted because your predictable reactions make you a highly profitable investment for those who play the game. You project an aura of reliability, and manipulators seek out reliability because it acts as a shock absorber for their chaos. They flock to you because they know that when the pressure hits, you will take the blame. You will do the extra work, and you will maintain the peace. Your good intentions are the exact vulnerability they are exploiting. To break this pattern, you must become a student of the pressure test. You no longer evaluate someone based on how they act during a celebration. You evaluate them based on how they behave during a delay, a disappointment, or a sudden loss of control. Watch the subtle indicators when a flight is canceled, when a reservation is lost, when a small mistake is made by service staff. Does the person beside you maintain their composure, or do they immediately escalate into anger and entitlement? Their reaction to a minor inconvenience is a preview of how they will treat you when you eventually fail to meet one of their expectations. Machiavellian thinkers understand that stress is a truth serum. It reveals emotional maturity with terrifying accuracy. Someone who is deeply insecure will often disguise their insecurity with arrogance when things are calm. But under pressure, that arrogance quickly devolves into blame shifting and panic. Someone who uses manipulation for control will appear highly organized and helpful until you say no to them. Watch what happens when you deny a controller what they want. The sudden flash of coldness, the immediate attempt to guilt-trip you, the subtle withdrawal of affection. That is not a momentary lapse in judgment. That is their core operating system kicking in because their primary tactic failed. You can even intentionally induce micro-pressure to test the waters before making a long-term commitment to a friend, a partner, or a business associate. Say no to a small, inconsequential request and observe their reaction. Set a minor boundary regarding your time and see if they respect it or subtly try to negotiate it away. Introduce a slight delay in your response time and watch if their anxiety spikes into controlling behavior. You are not doing this to be cruel. You are doing it to gather data. You are forcing the system to carry a small amount of weight to ensure the foundation isn't rotten before you build your life on top of it. The people who pass the pressure test are the ones who do not require you to manage their emotional state. They do not punish you for variables outside your control. They remain consistent, perhaps stressed, but fundamentally the same person they were during the comfortable times. These are the rare individuals worth keeping in your inner circle. But for the rest, the ones who fracture, blame, and betray the moment the wind changes, you must recalibrate your relationship with them instantly. You do not need to confront them, and you certainly do not need to try and fix them. You simply downgrade their access to your life. You move them from the category of trusted ally to the category of known variable. Accepting that people will default to self-interest under stress is not a reason to become bitter. It is a reason to become strategically prepared. When you expect the mask to drop, you are no longer shocked when it happens. You are no longer emotionally derailed by the betrayal because you already calculated it as a potential outcome. You stop asking, "How could they do this to me?" And you start asking, "What is my next move now that I know exactly who they are?" Once you realize how people operate under stress, the final step is learning to immunize yourself against their chaos. Once you realize how people operate under stress, the final step is learning to immunize yourself against their chaos. But you cannot build that immunity if your nervous system is constantly reacting to every provocation they throw your way. We have discussed how to observe others, how to read their incentives, and how to watch them fracture under pressure. Now, we must turn the lens inward. Because the most brilliant observational skills in the world are completely useless if you cannot control your own internal environment. In the realm of power dynamics, whoever controls your emotional state controls your actions, your anger, your need for vindication, your desperation to prove someone wrong. These are not just feelings to a Machiavellian player, they are strings, and as long as those strings are exposed, anyone can walk up and make you dance. Picture a scenario that happens every day in boardrooms, at family dinners, and in social circles. You are in a public setting, surrounded by people whose opinions matter to your standing. Someone, perhaps a rival, perhaps a passive-aggressive relative, waits for a lull in the conversation and drops a perfectly calibrated remark. It is a backhanded compliment, or a casual reference to a past failure delivered with a polite smile. "I wish I had as much free time as you do to work on these little side projects," or "You are so brave for presenting that data when it's so clearly incomplete." The comment is a precision strike, designed to trigger your insecurities and hit your deepest nerve. Instantly, your heart rate spikes. The blood rushes to your face. Your ego screams for justice. You want to snap back, to tear their argument apart, to publicly humiliate them for the disrespect. But this is exactly the trap. The provocation was not an accident, and it was not merely an insult. It was a test, and it was a bait. When a manipulative individual provokes you in front of an audience, they are not trying to win a logical argument. They are trying to hijack your emotional baseline so that you defeat yourself. If you snap, if you raise your voice, or if you launch into a defensive monologue, you have just lost the game. In the eyes of the audience, the original insult is immediately forgotten, and you become the problem. You look unstable, overly sensitive, and out of control. The provocateur simply leans back, raises their hands, and says, "Wow, I was just making an observation." Calm down. They have successfully weaponized your own reaction against your reputation, while keeping their own hands perfectly clean. To survive this, and to turn the tables entirely, you must practice what is known as emotional sterilization. This is the conscious uncoupling of your ego from your immediate environment. The ego demands immediate vindication. It demands that everyone in the room knows you are right, and the other person is wrong. But strategy demands effectiveness. When you sterilize your emotions, you view an insult not as an attack on your soul, but as a piece of data. When the passive-aggressive remark lands, you do not feel anger. You feel cold, clinical curiosity. You look at the person who threw the bait, and you mentally dissect the action. You ask yourself why they felt the need to execute that maneuver. Almost always, you will see that their provocation is born from a perceived deficit in their own power. They are trying to extract energy from you to elevate themselves. Once you view their behavior as a predictable mechanism rather than a personal assault, your entire physical response changes. You do not flush with anger. You do not rush to speak. Instead, you employ the ultimate psychological armor, detachment, and the delayed reaction. Imagine the absolute power of looking directly into the eyes of someone who just tried to humiliate you and offering nothing but a slow, unblinking stare. You let their insult hang in the dead air of the room. You let the audience feel the awkwardness of their failed power play, and then you deliver a response that is completely devoid of emotional weight. A simple, "What an interesting thing to say out loud," or a flat, unbothered, "Okay." And then you turn your attention back to the main conversation as if they do not exist. This response is lethal because it completely breaks the manipulator's script. They were relying on your anger to fuel the next stage of their game. When you give them a blank wall, they have nothing to push against. Their kinetic energy bounces back and hits them squarely in the chest. By refusing to match their emotional frequency, you establish immediate dominance over the frame. You communicate, without using a single defensive word, that their opinion lacks the necessary gravity to move you. You show the audience that you are the immovable object, and the provocateur is just a child throwing stones at a fortress. This is how you win the interaction. Not by fighting harder, but by refusing to descend into the arena they built for you. This discipline must extend beyond public confrontations and into your private communications. Think of the toxic ex-partner or the hostile client who sends a massive rage-filled paragraph over text or email, filled with accusations and twisted realities. The natural impulse is to write an essay in return, refuting every point, defending your character, and trying to force them to see the truth. Do not do it. When you send that long response, you are validating their delusion. You are proving to them that they still have the keys to your nervous system. Emotional sterilization means reading that message, recognizing it as a desperate attempt to regain control, and simply deleting it or replying with a single, bureaucratic sentence that addresses only the necessary logistics. Your emotional unavailability is your greatest security feature. Developing this armor requires you to accept that you will often be misunderstood, and that you must be entirely comfortable with that. You cannot control the narrative in everyone's head. You cannot stop manipulative people from trying to paint you as the villain when they talk to others. If you spend your life trying to manage everyone's perception of you, you will run yourself ragged playing defense. The truly clever individual abandons the need to be universally liked and replaces it with the goal of being strategically untouchable. You learn to validate yourself so thoroughly that external validation, or the withdrawal of it, no longer dictates your pulse. When you reach this state, your presence changes. People can sense when someone is emotionally grounded. Predators, narcissists, and Machiavellian players naturally avoid people who do not react to their bait, because it is a waste of their time and resources. They look for easy targets, for people whose egos are fragile and whose emotions are right on the surface. By sterilizing your reactions, you quietly remove yourself from their menu. You become a ghost in their machine. You watch their tactics, you understand their motives, and you navigate their traps, all without ever breaking a sweat or raising your voice. This level of detachment is exactly what separates the players from the pieces. The detachment that separates the players from the pieces is not a final destination. It is the foundation for the ultimate psychological vantage point. Once you have stripped away your emotional reactivity, once you have learned to read hidden incentives and watch people fracture under pressure, you undergo a permanent shift in perception. You no longer enter social dynamics as a participant desperate for a good outcome. You enter as the architect of your own reality. This is the anatomy of the 1% observer. The transition is profound because it completely flips the power dynamic you have been living under your entire life. You move from playing defense against other people's manipulations to playing a game they do not even realize is happening. Think about the environments that used to deeply intimidate you. A high-stakes corporate boardroom filled with executives who hold your financial future in their hands. A crowded university party or a high-status networking event where social currency dictates your worth. A tense family dinner loaded with decades of unspoken resentments and passive-aggressive landmines. In the past, you walked into these rooms feeling the overwhelming pressure to perform. You worried about how you were being perceived. You scrambled to find the right words to secure approval. And you let the heavy atmosphere dictate the rhythm of your nervous system. You were simply a piece moving across their board, hoping not to be knocked over. But when you step into those exact same rooms as the observer, the intimidation completely evaporates. You no longer see a room full of powerful, intimidating people. You see the invisible strings of status, envy, and leverage attached to everyone present. You see the machinery underneath polite society. You watch the aggressive manager who constantly interrupts everyone else, and you no longer feel intimidated by their volume. You simply recognize their desperate, bleeding need for control because they secretly fear irrelevance. You look at the fiercely competitive peer who tries to subtly belittle your achievements, and instead of feeling inadequate, you feel a cold pity because you see the exhausting insecurity driving their behavior. You notice the individual using constant, loud, self-deprecating humor, recognizing it not as humility, but as a preemptive shield to control criticism. and you notice the quiet, unassuming person sitting at the edge of the table who speaks only when necessary, recognizing them as the only other player in the room holding actual leverage. The social hierarchy that used to oppress you suddenly looks like a transparent, predictable mechanism. This is where you finally understand what true cleverness actually looks like. Popular culture trains us to believe that the clever person is the one with the sharpest tongue, the fastest comeback, and the most dominant magnetic personality. We are taught that power looks like aggression and quick wit. But aggression is loud, and loud is vulnerable. True cleverness is entirely silent. It is not about outsmarting people with brilliant arguments or dominating them in a battle of wills. It is about out-observing them until they defeat themselves. The Machiavellian observer knows that human nature is inherently flawed, ego-driven, and intensely impatient. If you simply give people enough time and enough rope, they will tangle themselves in their own contradictions. You do not have to expose them. You just have to step out of their way and let their own behavioral patterns do the heavy lifting. Time is the ultimate enemy of the manipulator, and your patience is the weapon that ruins them. When you adopt this posture, your entire relationship with conflict changes. You stop feeling the exhausting, desperate need to prove people wrong. If a manipulator wants to construct a false narrative about you to protect their own ego, you let them. You understand that fighting their illusion only gives it validity and drains your energy. You become perfectly comfortable letting people be wrong about you, especially if their ignorance gives you a strategic advantage. Being underestimated is one of the greatest privileges in the game of power. While they think they have you figured out, you are quietly mapping their blind spots. While they are busy performing for the crowd and protecting their fragile image, you are locating the exits and securing your assets. You stop playing their game, and you start watching the board. Living with this level of clarity is not a burden. It is the ultimate freedom. You are no longer collateral damage in other people's emotional wars. When someone tries to flatter you with cheap, excessive words, you smile politely, knowing their true intentions are yet to be revealed. When someone suddenly turns cold and distant because you set a boundary, you do not panic or chase them. You quietly celebrate the fact that a liability has removed itself from your life. You navigate friendships, romances, and professional networks with a calm, lethal precision because you have stopped negotiating with masks. You only do business with reality. This journey into dark psychology and Machiavellian strategy was never about teaching you how to become cruel. The world already has an abundance of cruelty, and cruelty is just another form of emotional lack of control. This was about teaching you how to become awake. The people who get used, betrayed, and left behind are usually the ones who insist that human nature is inherently noble, despite all evidence to the contrary. They want the world to be fair, so they act as if it already is, and they pay the ultimate price for that illusion. The observer accepts the darkness. They accept that people are heavily driven by self-interest, that loyalty is almost always conditional, and that appearances are carefully manufactured to extract value. And because they accept it, it can no longer be used against them. Tomorrow, when you walk out into the world, do not announce your transformation. Do not try to warn the people around you about the games being played. And do not show off your new ability to read the room. The 1% do not broadcast their awareness. They weaponize it in silence. Let the people around you continue to talk. Let them make their grand promises. Let them perform their carefully crafted identities. Let them believe they have the upper hand. Just remember the one velvet line that separates the prey from the predator. People lie with their words, but they confess with their patterns. Keep your eyes open, control your reactions, and let the truth reveal itself.